What's good, Council of Comics? Welcome to my house, Phil's Place. First episode. And if you watch the film and box office news every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on the Council of Comics channel, watch it here on YouTube. You know that I have a Laserdisc player, and I still watch Laserdiscs, and I watch them on my home theater. And in this episode of Phil's Place, I'll take you through that. I'll give you some information and tell you how I got into it at least, and I'll even walk you through and show you what I have it all hooked up to and stuff. So, welcome to Phil's Place. Let's get into this.
Black is like the brightest day. Where are the heroes? Soon as they get here, everything will be alright. I need a hero. Someone superhuman who can come and save my life.
Alright, so just a quick little history on the Laserdisc. Laserdisc came out in the late 70s. It was called DiscoVision when it originally came out. And so it kind of went all the way until about 2000. By then, DVD had kind of taken over as the format for movies. But Laserdisc was the first, I guess, prestigious format for movies there, and especially the late 80s and 90s. I mean, it really caught on in the mid 90s as much as it was going to catch on. I originally had a Laserdisc back in 1998 or 99. I traded a stereo that I wasn't really using for it. And at the time, I really didn't know what I had. I didn't have the remote control or understand the audio features of the Laserdisc. And since then, that Laserdisc, I don't know what happened to it or those movies. That was a long time ago. So I don't know. I wasn't really nostalgic for the Laserdisc. I didn't have enough experience with it. I think what I got more nostalgic for was I might be a little bit of a stickler of that's how the movie was when I saw it. It was like that. You'll hear us talking about the grain and stuff. Sometimes the HD transfers take something away from the movie. I've had that happen. Maybe it's too clear now or something like that. And movies have been getting changed because of HD transfers and stuff. Star Wars is notorious because we didn't like it. But it's been happening to all your movies along the way. Laserdisc is one of those formats, I think, where you're getting the original movie. Sometimes it's even off of a print, a film print transfer, that it'll show some of them, because some of these transfers, we watched this one, Zardoz. It was definitely a film transfer, and the film wasn't the best of quality, but it also had an authenticness to it, because that's what watching it was like. Laserdisc was before high definition, before HD. So everything on Laserdisc is standard definition, and pretty much everything on Laserdisc is a year 2000 movie or before. One of the latest releases I think was X-Men. And that only got a Japan release, and I don't have it. It's a very expensive. Some of these later Laserdiscs are expensive. Matrix is a notoriously expensive Laserdisc if you can find it. X-Men, Fight Club only came out in Japan, very expensive if you can find it. The only one that I have that is in my collection, I'll show it later. Phantom Menace, Star Wars, was a Japan only release. It was a popular release though, because we never got a DVD for Phantom Menace until a few months before Attack of the Clones came out, and Lucas had changed the Yoda. The Yoda became digital instead of the puppet. So Phantom Menace, besides having a great soundtrack, also has the original cut of the film that you saw. So yeah, that's what I probably was really the most nostalgic for. And I got my Laserdisc player that you're going to see in this video in 2021. There was a little bit of disposable income, I think, due to the pandemic and stuff like that. And the record store had a used Laserdisc player. It's sat on the shelf for a while that I was interested in. And Well, let me show it to you. Okay, so this is my Laserdisc player. It's the Pioneer. It's the DVL 919, and it was a Laserdisc DVD combo. And if you got one of these Laserdisc and DVD combos, you don't use it to watch DVDs anymore. So it does do like a nice auto flip, so I don't have to like flip the disc over. Laserdiscs were two-sided. And it was, I believe, this was the last model of Laserdiscs that was manufactured by Pioneer. Was the DVL 919. I think they manufactured this through the end of the 90s and to about 2009 maybe. They kept this manufactured and then they discontinued it. As you could see right there, my Laserdisc was manufactured in September of 1999. Okay, I'm using just about every hookup on this Laserdisc, but Laserdisc had evolved with all the different audios. So it did like analog audio when it originally came out, and then the digital audio came out, and it was able to do that. And finally, AC3 came out, and you needed the AC3 demodulator. That's what that wire right there is going into. I'll show you that in a second. And this goes into my receiver. This goes into the demodulator, and then the modulator goes into my receiver. And this wire is the digital, the optical, and that's for the digital audio. That goes directly to my receiver. You could also do, so there was let me see, there was analog audio, there was digital, and then there was the AC3 Dolby Digital, and finally Laserdisc did DTS. So for the Dolby Digital, you needed the AC3 modulator, this one, and for the DTS and the digital audio, you needed that one. So I am using like a lot of the audio hookups and video hookups for my Laserdisc player. All right, and this is the Yamaha AC3 demodulator that I got. I didn't really know I needed an AC3 demodulator for 5.1 surround on some of those movies, like the true 5.1, until after I bought the Laserdisc. So like the same day, I think I found this on eBay and I managed to pick it up. So my entry level into this hobby was like, all right, the price is a little bit like steep, but once you got everything, it was like, all right, I got everything and everything is working great. So I use this Toshiba. It's a DVD recorder. And the nice thing about it is it has the composite, and I use the composite from the Laserdisc to go into the DVD recorder because this does a decent job of upscaling, and it also does, it'll give you an HDMI out, which is good for me for my current setup. So because Laserdisc went from the 1970s to the end of the 90s, your Laserdisc was meant for, a TV that looked like this, one of the older square TVs, or like a CRT TV. So getting the aspect ratio on your current 16:9 TV is something that if you're getting into this, you're gonna have to play with and have to figure it out. There's probably a zoom function on your TV that'll do it. But you're definitely going to want to try to get the right aspect ratio. Okay, so my Toshiba DVD recorder has the HDMI come out, and I wire that into the Kramer. This is a scaler I use because I have my Laserdisc, believe it or not, hooked to a 4K projector, which is this right here. And I love this projector. It's the Vava 4K. This has really worked out great for me, and I use it on, like, there it is, the big gray screen is all you see. I use it on a 100-inch screen. I don't get edge to edge through the Laserdisc, just because I'll tell you, it's a resolution thing. It's like you don't really like upscale anything past 1080, and I just can't get edge to edge with the correct aspect ratio. And finally, for my audio, I'm using this Pioneer receiver, and I'll get you it's the VSX 824. So, and I love this receiver. I have no complaints about it. And one of the nice things, I didn't have a remote control for this Laserdisc originally, but the Pioneer buttons on the Pioneer remote actually worked for it for a while until I was able to get like a knockoff one off of Amazon for like $20, which does the job. But it's a good receiver, and it does DTS, it does Dolby Digital, and it wires in pretty perfectly. So yeah, that's my Laserdisc setup and a little bit of information and history about how I got it working on my current home theater. And yeah, it's been a fun like thing for me to get involved in. It's been a fun retro collectible. I know like the Laserdisc is like a thing of the past, you know, but it's it's a relic of the past, but it doesn't mean it's not like a fun relic. And I just thought I'd look at these. So it's it's a relic of the past, but it doesn't mean it's like worthless. It's actually been fun. It's been fun to collect movies. It's been fun to go back and watch some of these movies from my childhood and stuff like that. It's pretty much what we do on the Council of Comics podcast. Sundays at 5 is we go over and we usually watch like an old classic and see how we feel about it, and see if we take anything different. So to end like the video, I thought I'd show like some laser discs, at least that I have collected, and we could talk about it. So big surprise to anyone who knows Laserdisc, who does collect Laserdisc. I have Speed in my collection, okay? Ultra rare Speed. No, that's a joke. If you get into collecting Laserdisc, you'll find you're going to have a copy of Speed or two. There's just no way you're avoiding it. Everybody had Speed. So that's what I could show, though. I could talk about. This has a beautiful AC3 track. This is a good example of a movie I didn't see until I got a hold of the Laserdisc. And I really enjoyed the movie. I was very happy with it. Great artwork. I mean, you can't go wrong with some of the Laserdisc artwork and the gatefolds. I love it. You can put that right there. Another movie I didn't see until like pretty recent, and I got it on Laserdisc, was Driving Miss Daisy. And I can tell you, when I watched this movie, I thought this movie was able to say a whole lot without really saying anything at all. Good movie. Yeah, this is another example of just a movie I missed along the way, but Michael Douglas, Black Rain. It's a pretty good movie. I think he's going up against the Yakuza, and there's some motorcycles and stuff in it. This is an example of a movie I watched again from my childhood, but I took something so much more from it when I watched it as an adult. But Stand By Me, it's a classic. I am sure one Sunday we will be reviewing this movie. But yeah, that was a good example of, wow, I watched it again like a lot older, and wow, I took like something that looked like completely different from it. This is an example of a movie that has been changed a little bit. I know it has, just because everything that actually shows the Titanic in this movie has not aged pretty well. Like if you see the full ship, that computer animation isn't the best, but it's also like, this is what it really was like. The Dolby Digital track for Titanic is amazing. It definitely sounds great. Oh, by the way, another great movie with just great inside artwork. You can't go wrong with some of that. This movie has been changed so many times. Like, if you have the Laserdisc, this was I don't know, but there was definitely something like to be found on the Laserdisc with this edition of Roger Rabbit. You could go look it up, not for this video because we're a family channel, but this is a movie that has been changed so many times. Like Zemeckis got away with so much with this, and honestly, this is another movie I took a lot away from as a kid and a lot more away from as an adult when you see just how great and magical that movie is and was. I'm sure if we haven't reviewed this yet, we're going to review it. But Terminator, and I'm going to show you something, but Terminator, if you could see it, was originally a mono movie. And that's what this is. This is the mono track for Terminator with the THX, but widescreen, really good. And that's how Terminator sounds. Terminator didn't have a 5.1 track until like 2000. Okay. So Terminator, I'm going to put this in here too, because someday, if we haven't already, we're going to review the Terminator movies, I'm sure. This is an amazing copy of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. It's the special edition. I think there's a, what it came with was a letter from James Cameron, and the TLDR version is like pretty much thank you for buying like this extended edition of Terminator 2, and you know, and there is so much like extra. I think there's almost like a half hour of extra stuff that he put into this Terminator that is just like amazing. Like this copy of Terminator is where it's at. And last, one of the only I only have 2 DTS Laserdisc movies, and this is one of them. The Long Kiss Goodnight, Samuel L. Jackson, Gina Davis. It sounds amazing. And it's a good action flick from the 90s. So, yeah, those are some of the movies that I've collected. I have a pretty decent collection now, and I'm going to keep it going. You're going to see me do a Laserdisc unboxing of like 19 movies soon. So definitely be on the lookout for that. All right, so I just want to like wrap things up real quick and tell you to check out the Film and Box Office News podcast every Sunday at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And the comic book, the new comic book and keys of the week, that comes out on Monday, 8 o'clock. Those 2 live podcasts that the Council of Comic does. We do new comic book day every week. And yeah, this is like the stuff we like to like get into. Film, comic books, all that fun stuff. So from me and the rest of the Council of Comics, I want to thank you so much for watching and sticking it through this video. And until next time, peace out, everybody.